Is there anybody in this room that's never heard of Honor Flight San Diego? Good, that's good to know. Sue Zabaugh she works, I think, as one of the board members or treasurer of Honor Flight San Diego. She's from Colorado, I think Denver originally. Started out in Aurora as a receptionist in a Land Rover car dealership, and within a couple of years moved up and became the general manager, one of the few general managers and women general managers, there you go. And eventually she moved out here to take over a role, I forget what year it was, 2003, to take over down there in Miramar, the Land Rover dealership. I think it eventually became Land Rover and Audi. And then how did she get involved with Honor Flight? Well, I guess it was about 2017. There was an activity where once a year they had a stand down for homeless veterans. And she got involved in that, and then she learned that there was a Spirit of 45 World War II event where they brought World War II veterans together to tell their stories of World War II. She learned about Honor Flight. As soon as the pandemic was over, she was then able to go out there as a guardian on Honor Flight. She's got experience doing that, and now she obviously is very involved with Honor Flight. And we really want to make sure we get the word out. I personally feel glad that I took Bud Robards, who used to play the piano down there. We got Don Folks to go. All of you know some veterans from either World War II, Korea, or now the ones from Vietnam that we need to get there sooner, not later, because of how they're doing. So please take what you learned here today, go out in the community, and get these people the recognition and the event, and she's going to show you what a tremendous event it is that we have for them. So without further ado, Sue Zabaugh.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me today. And I'm so happy that so many of you have heard about Honor Flight. I know because you've had some of your own go with us. So we have a flight coming up at the end of April. We are a nonprofit, so pending funding, we try to do 2 trips per year. End of April, end of September. Each flight costs us approximately $310,000 because we charter an airplane. We have our, we don't have to worry about other people. We have our own plane. We don't have to. It's just us. So it's a great thing. We try to get at least 90 veterans on every flight, and then the rest of the plane is filled with their guardian, their battle buddy, their family guardian, board members. We take guardians who are doctors, nurses. My daughter flies from Colorado. She's a charge nurse in an emergency room. She comes out to be a guardian sometimes. So we do have medical staff there to help if there is any type of medical emergency. But I have a video here that I'd like you to see. It's maybe 10 minutes or so, that was done by Brad Willis, who used to be a correspondent, I believe, with CBS News. He now lives in Coronado and unfortunately is not in good health. But he went with us, he and his son went with us one year, and you're gonna see what they saw.
$63,000 a month. Well, I didn't make this kind of money selling yoga mats and toast.
Hi, I'm Holly Dackner, the Director of Public Relations for Honor Flight San Diego. And I just want our veterans to know from the moment they get to San Diego International Airport, they are loved, they are adored, and this trip is for them.
This is Dave Smith, Honor Flight San Diego. During war times or when people are on active duty and out of the country, one of the best means of communication they have is receiving communications from home. Back in World War II, Korea, and even in Vietnam era, they didn't have all the electronic communications we have today. So one of the most important things that would take place is when they would receive mail from home. From San Diego, Honor Flight, with veterans from World War II, Korea, Vietnam. God bless
Award. And to those Vietnam veterans who did not receive their homecoming 50 years later, we say, welcome home.
Bill Deshawn, World War II, glad to be here.
World War II, glad to be here. Ronald Smith, World War II, glad to be here. Al Holmes, World War II, glad to be here.
Everything we do here is to make these veterans feel loved and honored and appreciated. And it's our way of saying thank you, and this means the world to them, to be with each other, to be with other team members, to be with other service members, and sometimes their families, and share their stories.
I am Bill Deshawn. I was a Marine, going to Vietnam, we have a Marine truck and company. And it is wonderful to be here, especially to be here at the memorial, to see the flag that we're going to be able to appreciate it very, very much. I'm glad I came to be here to see this. I'm glad to be with my fellow citizens.
I am Jacqueline Schwab Hewitt. I was in the Army Air Corps. And this honor flight trip has been absolutely, unimaginably wonderful. And there's been surprises around every corner, and they have a special tribute for women in the military.
I'm Marcus Worthington. I served in Vietnam from 1965 to 1966. Stayed for 2 years in Vietnam. I did a total of 3 tours. I was wounded on my second tour, and to be here at this memorial is very heartening and heartwarming and gratifying to see.
Lee McClary from Morgantown, South Carolina, and I volunteered with Bear Solid a month ago in Vietnam. Had a recon team. 2 days left with you on this last patrol. I was wounded at Colonel Southern down. I love this country. I think it's worth living for. It's worth dying for. And it's just an honor to be on the flight. And I'm honored to be with you.
Hi, I'm Dave Smith with Honor Flight San Diego. This is my 28th trip to the Vietnam Wall, and every time I'm here, there are many different things that touch me as we go through. It's always very emotional to see Vietnam veterans that come and find folks that they had served with that were lost in Vietnam. We do find that this can be very healing, and we do get some closure with having the opportunity to reflect on those that we served with, loved, and cared for.
Hi, my name is Gary Roosevelt. I was in Vietnam in 1966, 67. Short stay at home back in 68 and 69. Some true heroes were here, but the real heroes we left. And there was 59,000 some odd of them. So, again, it's just humbling to be here.
My name is Steve Phillips. I live in Coronado, California, and I'm a Vietnam veteran. I was just visiting John Gleason, one of my medics who was killed in 1968, and just saying hello. Gleason. It's tough, have mixed emotions. It's just sad that it had to happen at all. It tore the country apart. We just went because we were asked to go.
I'm Milo Halleck. I served in Vietnam from 64 through 66. And it is such an experience, it's just overwhelming. It's heartwarming and emotional. And I certainly appreciate the people that have made this possible. I thank you.
My name is Julie Brightlaw, and I'm the chairman of Honor Flight San Diego. And this last trip was my 55th flight, taking our World War II, Korea, and Vietnam veterans to Washington, D.C. It's been a chance to honor them each huge time, and one of the most thrilling, heart-wrenching moments of this whole flight is the welcome home. They returned to the airport that is absolutely filled with 1,000 people that are cheering them, hugging them, thanking them, shaking their hands, holding up signs, and letting them know how grateful they are for their service. And it just never gets old. It doesn't get old to see that. I think for the veterans, it provides a lot of closure. I mean, these veterans, none of them probably, they didn't get all the ticker tape grades, right? The World War II veterans came home and took a bus or a train and maybe walked to their home and went back to work. And, you know, the Korea veterans, the forgotten war, those veterans didn't get this either. And I think for our Vietnam veterans, it may have gone from apathy to anger, misdirected at those who served. And they did not get a warm welcome either. So getting to see all these years later, 50, 60, or 70 years later, they are seeing that the nation is grateful, just grateful citizens that are coming out to say thank you. And that is life-changing for our veterans. It's really life-changing.
I used to use a CPA. I just send all of my paperwork and trust that they did what was right. TurboTax Full Service was a breath of fresh air. My tax expert, she was amazing, very knowledgeable. She answered all of my questions. It all just felt super easy and transparent. I would recommend TurboTax Full Service. You gotta try it, you have to.
Tonight, breaking news from whiteout conditions, highway pileups, the storms sweeping into the east of the south are now turning deadly. Tonight, 115 million Americans in 25 states under alerts for blizzard conditions and dangerous winds. And now severe storms from Washington.
Well, if you're anything like me, and I've been on many of those flights, I still cry. I cry when I'm on the plane, I cry before the plane, I cry after the plane. So, because it is so emotional for all the veterans and the guardians, and we do a little bit of a special thing. So those of you that are guards, you should be covering your ears, but we do some special things on the flight, and we try to get out. There's 4 teams that go. We separate it up into teams, but we're all together when we eat and whatnot. Dave is the founder, so this is our 15th year, and we anticipate we are taking our 2,000th veteran this trip. I'm not sure if it's this trip or the one in September, but we will have taken 2,000 veterans to Washington, D.C. by the time this year is over, which is pretty amazing. Drive us fast. I'm going to click forward. There it is. So as you can see up here, we're part of a huge national network. There's over 130 hubs throughout the United States. Some places don't have a hub yet, so we have what's called a Lone Eagle flight. And if they call the national network, or they happen to call Honor Flight San Diego, I don't know why they would, but if they call the national network, they're going to find out that Honor Flight will pay to get them from wherever they are to Washington, D.C., and they will tour the national memorials and monuments built for their sacrifice and service with other veterans who also did not have a hub in their area. And also, if they're terminally ill, they can get on a Lone Eagle flight. We always put that as first priority for us, as well as the World War II and Korean War veterans. But if they need to go before our next flight, we're gonna hook them up with national. As you can see, like I said earlier, each trip costs us about $310,000. We are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit, and we are all volunteer. There's no cost to the veteran at all to go. Unless they choose to come down Thursday night and stay at a hotel near the airport that we block some rooms, because they have to be at the airport at 5:30 Friday morning. So that's the only time they can share the cost of the room with another veteran, or if they have a family guardian, the family guardian will stay with them, but they'll still have the cost of that room. Guardians, really, we've bumped it up now. The cost to be a guardian is $950, and that just helps offset our costs a little bit. They get a round trip ticket to Washington, D.C., they get a bus ride with tour guides, and they'll get to see all these great memorials and monuments. So that just helps us offset the cost. These are the stops we try to make. Now, sometimes we don't get to all of them, depending on traffic. Washington, D.C., if any of you have been there lately, there's always something being built, something being torn down, a street is torn up. So there's times we don't get to everything. This year in April 30th marks the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. So we anticipate, we will be there the weekend of the 25th to the 27th, and we anticipate a lot of people at the memorial wall. There's always a lot of people there, but I think even more so that weekend because it's the weekend prior to the anniversary. We actually have a gentleman that's going on my team who was there doing the evac, getting people on the helicopters at the DAO and the embassy. So it'll be quite interesting for him. We do the mail call, which, you know, as we said in the video, a lot of times these guys didn't get mail, especially the Vietnam guys. Maybe they moved around a lot, they had short tours. So we have a lady that is a volunteer for us. She collects between 5,000 and 7,000 pieces of mail for every trip. So she is constantly, we've got certain groups, and they sit and write letters, they write thank you cards, kids color pictures, it doesn't matter what it is. Donna collects them all. We make sure each veteran has a packet of mail to open on the plane, and we do a couple of other special things on the flight that I don't want to talk about right now, because there might be people going. But here you can see, it's a very emotional thing for them because maybe they didn't get mail, or it brings back memories, whatever the case may be, but sometimes it's very emotional for them to get those letters, and just knowing that people really do thank them. I don't know that it's talked about as much in schools as it was when I was younger, but you know, sometimes the kids nowadays don't know the history, and they need to know where we were to help get us where we're gonna go. So they need to recognize and thank these veterans for what they've done. This shows us getting in to BWI, Baltimore. We fly in from San Diego to BWI, Baltimore Washington International, straight through, and then we stay at the BWI Hilton, which is about 7 minutes away. And then on Saturday, we get back on the buses and we bus into Washington, D.C., and we spend the whole day. It's a busy day on and off the bus for the veterans. For those that are in a wheelchair and are immobile, we always have buses that have a lift, so we can accommodate those veterans, and we just get them on the lift, raise them up, secure the wheelchair to the bottom of the bus, and they get to go same as anyone else. So that is not a hindrance for us, and nothing is, unless they have severe medical problems, and then we have to get a doctor's release. But other than that, we want every veteran to go and be recognized. And when they come back to the San Diego airport, there's just a couple people that come and to say thank you and greet them. So again, cover your eyes. You've already seen it now, but you just have to act surprised if you get to go. But it's quite emotional. It's emotional for us. Like Julie said, it never gets old. For the veterans, especially for the Vietnam veterans who literally have told us, you know, they were spit on, you know, bad things happened at luggage claims. There's just been a lot of horrible stories for these people that, as the gentleman said, they just went to do what they were asked to do. So they served their country, and they deserve all the respect that we have for them. again, we're a nonprofit, so we have people that, we've had little kids have lemonade stands and they've donated the $7.43 or whatever it is. We've got a school in Rancho Santa Fe, and every year they do a jog-a-thon, and you can donate for how many laps they do, and they love it because we take the veterans there to help urge them on, and a lot of times it's the World War II veterans. So the kids love to see that, and we appreciate every dollar we get. So I've got some fact sheets in the back for things that cover what we've done. Again, it's our 15th year this year. We're very excited about that. And I did bring some printed applications if someone wants to fill out an application or you want to take one with you. But it's the easiest way to do it is just to get on our website, honorflightsandiego.org, and fill out a veteran application. If you want to fill out a guardian application to be considered to be a guardian, believe me, everybody wants to be a guardian. It's a very special thing. So we have quite the list of folks that want to do that at some point. But you're welcome to get on and do that. You can fill out a volunteer application and come help us at events, or even just get on and sign up to get our monthly newsletter. We won't spam you or anything like that, but at least you know what we're doing, and maybe we have something coming up and you want to help. So we try to do a lot of things with our veterans and keep them engaged, so people get them out there in the public. And I live in Marietta. I'm the sole representative for Honor Flight in Riverside County. So we cover San Diego County, Imperial County, and Riverside County. And then it goes up into Southland and covers Orange and San Bernardino and LA. So there's a lot of veterans out there, especially in Riverside, who know nothing about it because we don't get the San Diego TV stations up there. And when we come home from a trip, we always take media. So the media is posting along the way, and then they're there for the big event when we come home. And folks up there don't know about it. So that's a big thing I'm trying to do, is just to get the word out up there about Honor Flight. We have a gentleman going this coming trip from Palm Springs, so we've had him from all over. But that's what when I come out and do presentations, when any of us come out to do presentations, that's what we're asking you to help us with, is to get the word out. Whether you know somebody, you know of somebody, your neighbor knows somebody, we don't care. We need to get them on their flight, get their application in. So it's just a passion. We all love it to death. Julie started in, I think it was Indiana. So this flight for her is going to be like her almost her 60th flight. She's been doing this a long time. She's our board chair. And so we've all been doing it a long time, none of us as long as Julie, but I answer the 800 number. If somebody calls the 800 number to ask a question, I get it on my cell phone. I answer all the info at emails that come in, and we all have a lot of hats that we wear within the organization, but everything that we do is all for the veterans, about the veterans. So if you know of anybody, want to know anything more, there's some stuff back on the table. I brought my own business cards as well as just general cards that you're welcome to take with you and hand out to whomever you like. Just want to say thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with you guys today, and happy to answer any questions. Yes, ma'am.
How are the veterans selected? You have to get one requested.
Yes. So the World War II and Korean War veterans, and again, any terminally ill veteran is given top priority. The Vietnam veterans, we have over 650 Vietnam veterans in our database waiting to go. So when you stop and think, we only do 2 flights a year, roughly 90 veterans, a flight 90 to 95. If we have healthy Vietnam veterans, we put 2 Vietnam veterans with 1 guardian so we can get more veterans on the plane. Because we want to fill, we're paying for a plane. We want to fill every seat. So for the Vietnam veterans, we're prioritizing by age or health concern. So if they call the 800 number and they tell me, I'm Joe Smith and these are the problems that I have, then we take that into consideration. But that's pretty much what we do, is we are prioritizing them by age. And right now with our Vietnam veterans, we're in the middle of the 80s. We are taking a few that are younger, this time because of health problems. We've got one on our team that's only 74. that he's got, some health problems from his time in Vietnam. So that's how we prioritize. Yes, ma'am.
Where do the biggest donors come from, corporate-wise, or where?
You'd be, the biggest donors are the public. They really are. We've got a lady that helps us by doing grant writing. It's just super tough. It just seems like ever since COVID, it's very tough. The grant writing industry is extremely tough. That's all I can say. So it's really generous donors. We have a couple this trip that have just really, it's just overwhelming what they've stepped up to help us with. But really, that's it. It's just us coming out and speaking, people seeing us on the news, and they send a check. There's folks that do it monthly. Some of our veterans do it. We always say we don't want our veterans to donate. We want them to tell their rich friends about it, so their rich friends can donate. But we still do have veterans that do it. Sometimes it's $20 a month. Sometimes it's $2,000 a month. So, yes, sir.
You talked about guardians, as in anybody can sign up, but isn't the guardian maybe a child or something of a veteran or a family member?
Yes, it can be, as long as they're over 18, they can go they can be the family guardian for their grandfather, their uncle. We've had that, for sure. But, yeah, the family guardians typically go with the World War II veterans or the, Korean War veterans, because they're older and they tend to need a little bit more help. They might have more health issues. And so we don't take wives. A lot of veterans get a little irritated by that because sometimes the wives need as much care as the husbands. And one gentleman told me when he called the 800 number, we haven't been on a vacation until then. I said, well, sir, I'm sorry, it's not a vacation. We have had wives go because of a veteran's health concerns. But generally speaking, we do not take the spouses. What if they get in a fight? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but we don't allow spouses.
Thank you so much, Sue. She will stick around afterwards. Please go to that table back there. Get the word out. As I stand up here right now, I count 6 very strong candidates to go on honor flight sitting in the room with us, one of which is our most distinguished oldest member over there who may well get an opportunity real soon for Don to go back there. And we're talking another one of those World War II veterans. Everybody recognize who that is? Jack. Originally, when this presentation was designed, it was going to be a tag team presentation with Sue and Jack. Unfortunately, Jack is not able to be here, but we're filming it, and everybody, let's give a loud round of applause to Jack. Who recognizes this individual? Don Folks. October 13th, 1944, Friday, October 13th, he was a bombardier in a B-24, and he was shot down and spent 7 months as a POW until he was finally liberated by Patton's army. He was a distinguished citizen here in San Diego, Fallbrook, a distinguished member of our club. He was the poet laureate, if you will, of our club. He passed away, I think it was about 2020. He wrote a poem. I'm passing out a copy to everybody, but this was when he returned from honor flight. And there's a copy on the table if you want to see it. Allow me to read this to you. An honor flight, a flight every qualified veteran should take, to be aware of the sacrifices their buddies did make when they volunteered for action against a vicious faction threatening our freedom. That was at stake. And I'm privileged to be an alumni of the honor flight. I visited memorials of those who did fight to preserve our way of life who lost theirs during the strife, so that we could continue with our good life. The honor flight is spectacular for all, superbly well organized, with never a missed call, and each veteran has a guardian for the affair, taking care of the veteran's needs with care. Normally a relative is the one. I chose Wiley, my guardian, my 6'4" son. If asked, would you like to be invited for the honor flight? And this is the words of Don, say yes. I was aware of its importance and its success. I had friends who had taken complete rapture. I couldn't wait to take the trip, the desire factor. I did it and was overwhelmed, humbled, I must confess. My son and I rate this as a highlight of life, as I did say yes. So there's the words and testimony of somebody many of us know and hold dear. Again, thank you very much, Sue, sticking around. If everybody would please rise and let us recite the four-way test of things we think, say, or do. Number 1.
Is it the truth?
Number 2.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Number 3.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And number 4.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and week, and see you next week. And please refer some people to this wonderful program.